I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Al Poole.
Here.
David Walker.
Here.
Soren Peterson. Chuck Schultz.
Here.
Mike Cunningham. Marna Smith. Here. And Marcy Husted here.
Well, now that everybody's all present, we're going to suspend our regular board meeting and open up the public hearing. The purpose of the public hearing is the review of the proposed Apple Orchard Drive Waste Collection Project 2017 Special Assessment District. Is there anybody here that would like to make any comments regarding the special assessment for waste collection for Apple Orchard?
As long as you pass it, that's all I care about.
What do you, I mean, you want us just to wait until you're done and tell us all what it is first?
I don't understand your question.
Like details on,
Well, the question is.
On the assessment,
well,
or-
We're worried about, what with this quote, are we purchasing, each household's purchasing that container, or are we renting that container?
It's a rental.
No, they're including the 96-gallon garbage cart in that price, that $39 a quarter. You're going to have to provide your own recycling bins, but yeah, this includes the cart.
Okay, so we own that.
No.
I
After
don't
the contract's up, they'll
think
take it.
Yeah.
Then we're renting it.
Right.
they're providing it with the service.
We're
So
renting.
that would be rent.
And, yeah,
50 cents of that $39. Anecdotally, yeah.
interpreted
We
different ways.
already have one. My understanding is, because my wife and I were the ones that started this, we were under the understanding that if we already have one, we didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah, see, this says that,
Because when we bought this house, we inherited the container. And our understanding was that if you already had one, you didn't need to purchase one. That's not the case.
it says that our cost would be $39 per resident per quarter with 96-gallon curb cart.
Right.
But that doesn't say that they're gonna supply.
What's that saying is that they're going to supply, they're charging every resident that price, and every resident will get a container. But you could still use the container that you have, you won't have to purchase an extra one.
One's more than enough for me, but,
Right.
okay, that's fine. Because that's still not that much more than what I'm already paying now. And I've already supplied my own recycling bin. My next question is, if they supply recycling now, because how it's set up, we have to put everything in separate plastic bags. We don't have to do that anymore?
They are saying that free weekly recycling, let's see, it says they don't have special containers for recycling, so you may use whatever works best for you. It does not say you have to put it in a
Okay.
clear plastic bag, which is what I have to do now.
What about yard waste?
That says they'll pick up 2 free, wait. The yard waste bags will cost 50 cents per bag after the first 2 on yard waste yard waste weeks. Pardon?
Which are what?
Every other?
Every other, I believe. Let's see. No, 2 free bags of yard waste every week.
Now, when
April
we're
through
talking
October.
Yard waste, we're talking like a Home Depot.
Probably the
yard
brown
waste
bags.
I'm perfect, I'm good.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, with that being said, then we'll close the public hearing. Next, we'll reconvene our board meeting and call for approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions? I'll take a motion.
So moved. Support.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Agenda is approved. Approval of the consent agenda, the regular board meeting minutes from June 20th, 2017, clerks, warrants, and bills.
So moved. Support.
It's been motioned and supported. Well, everybody's on board. To approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The consent agenda is approved. Communications, items number 1, Orchard Park drain petition, which will be on the July 25th meeting for discussion. Livingston County Sheriff's Report from May 2017 and the Revenue and Expenditure Report ending June 30th, 2017.
So moved.
It's been motioned and supported to receive and place communications 1 through 3 on file. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next, public remarks. Anybody have anything that they'd like to talk about tonight or address the board, make any comments?
A lot of money to do this.
Well, I like to think that, that we put these board packets out and that everybody reads them in detail and they're totally prepared when we get here, so we don't have to waste a lot of time and explain it. So, but
Just keep saying that to yourself.
one of these days I'll convince myself of it, right?
Can you expand a little bit on that Orchard Park drain petition? Just what? There's going to be another hearing, or?
We have made no action on it, so we're probably going to make some discussion about it at our next meeting and decide. We could make a decision on if we're going to move forward on it or not. So
That'll be on the 25th?
that'll be on the 25th. We have no unfinished business. New business, resolution to confirm the special assessment role for the Apple Orchard Drive waste collection special assessments. We've had discussion on this on previous boards. We've had 2 public hearings on this. Unless anybody wants to speak in objection on this, I think we could go ahead and call for a roll call vote. Does anybody want to speak in objection to the assessment?
So just to make it formal, so resolved. Support.
It's been resolved and supported to confirm the special assessment role for the Apple Orchard Drive waste collection special assessment. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Soren Peterson? Chuck Schultz?
Yes.
Al Poole?
Yes.
Mike Cunningham?
Yes.
Marna Smith?
Yes.
David Walker?
Yes.
And Marcy Houston, yes.
Resolution is confirmed, passed. Next is request of Soup's Exotic Jungle for a special land use application. I'll get to Al on this in just a second. This is something that kind of came to us. The gentleman set up this little business in his township, didn't know that he needed permit, basically went out and sent him a notice of violation. He immediately came to the township and said, hey, I'm sorry, what do I need to do? We had no ordinance drafted for this. He actually worked with the Planning Commission to help develop and design our ordinance. So, it's one of those situations, you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar, but, you put cookies back in the jar. So he's been a very accommodating applicant in the process. And Mark, Ross and I did a site visit out there, and it's a pretty remarkable spot. So, you can give me the particulars on it now and tell the board, about the process and where we're at with it.
Yeah, we just had a few conditions, and he has met those conditions. I've been very impressed with how much knowledge they have on these animals and how well they handle them, and I think it provides a good service for the community and to the schools, and so I would make a motion that we approve this.
So moved.
It's moved. Are you seconding?
Or second.
Me?
He's already made the motion.
Oh, then I second.
Okay. It's been motioned and supported to approve the request of Soup's Exotic Jungle for a special land use permit. It's an application issue. Any further discussion?
I have one question.
Sure.
Which maybe Al can answer. So, there was some discussion on the site plan, but when let's say if he does make changes, like future, I guess it would be structure changes or something, does he have to submit, there was discussion about engineered plan versus just, he has like a sketched plan. So is that a requirement for future needs, or it's just, they waived that to allow that what he
I think we
supplied
approved
was,
what he has. I think if he wanted to add to it, he would probably need to come
need
back
to do,
For a revision.
like,
Right.
okay,
And that would be a simple,
just having a company do plans.
you would have to redo his site plan to
Yeah.
include whatever changes
What
you're
the future
making.
changes might
He
be.
has to list the animals, make
Yeah.
sure that they're,
Okay,
so,
all right,
but, yeah, that's a valid point.
yeah.
Also, too, it's a great educational experience, you know, I've heard a lot about what I saw out there, and I think it's, you know, when you first hear of it, you think of, you know, spiders and snakes and crocodiles and all these bad things. When you actually get out there and you see these, you know, frogs and a porcupine and lemurs and stuff, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
So it's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Item number 3 is request to refund sewer overpayment to parcel 470709201010.
Okay, so I thought we were done with these, but I was focusing on properties with structures. And now we have just finalized, and we have vacant parcels that are in the sewer district, and we just, you know, make sure all of our lists, everybody's matching in the departments. And here we go. One comes up, it's vacant. There has been a visual inspection. There is no structure on this parcel. And we have been billing, utility billings for O&M, saying there's flow since 2008. And they have been paying these on time for that long. And we have collected this much money. So in past, I know legal counsel has always indicated, they would give options, like an option would be, well, you know, would they be willing to do a credit? But this is vacant, and if you gave them a credit on O&M, what if they never billed on it? So he said, the right thing would be to refund like we did other refunds. So my only concern is that we do have 2 people involved at different time frames. So from 2008 to 2011, there were 2 people on the assessing record. So I think we should indicate in the blue area, it's actually it's Christie, not Christine. The correct spelling is Christie, Christie, and Joy. Those payments were from 2008, 2011 for that amount, so I think we should refund in both of those names because that's what the assessor's records had indicated during that time frame. And then Christie owned it and paid the utility billings from 2011 to current. We have inactivated this in utility billing. We had billings go out this July and they did not receive a billing. So I just think we need to at least try to refund the monies back to them.
And for the record, 2008 predates any of us here, so.
Yeah,
it's
and
just
it had
part
to
of
be
how
an
this whole
administrative error.
You know, and it started rocky, so, you know, I'm
yeah.
glad that we found this.
And I know in 2009, 8, 9, we had the other company we were using, and then we had a new program that came in. So it was probably an administrative error, and they got included as paying into the system, and strangely enough, they paid these bills all these years, even though they're not using the system. So I just need I'll make a motion that we provide the refunds and the overpayments to O&M, and it would be out of the 590 fund under our sewer operating maintenance fund.
Support. Been motioned and supported to approve the refund overpayment request for 470409201001 out of Fund 490.
590.
590.
Sewer O&M.
sewer O&M. Any further discussion?
I hate to ask this, but there aren't any more, are there?
They're better, there can't be. We've looked at them all.
Okay.
So there should be no more.
But we've looked at them all last time.
I know.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Item number 4 is the township escrow policy. We've had a influx lately of a lot of people wanting special assessments, whether it be waste collection, roads, and what have not. And there seems to be a little bit of legwork that is involved in doing this. And Marcy and I were having some discussion about this. You know, we don't have a policy for this, and we need to establish a policy because there's costs that are associated with it. You know, we've had a few people dabble and then kind of pull out, and then, you know, I don't think that the taxpayers should be holding the bag. So if you're truly interested in moving forward with the project, and there's going to be costs, that we should establish an escrow account for those costs, and they can be redistributed through the special assessment rule. So Marcy went ahead and contacted Chuck Whitmire and worked to establish this policy. And if you want to say anything else about it, feel free to do so, Marcy.
Well, this is primarily for the special assessments that involve legal costs, but I have the discretion to waive that escrow deposit if I deem it necessary, such as for a waste removal project. Probably I wouldn't require a escrow deposit because there's no attorney fees involved in that, but the road projects, they involve substantial attorney fees. So if the project doesn't get approved, then the township bears the costs of those legal expenses. So this is a way to make sure that the township isn't having to pick up those costs when the project isn't approved.
Other townships have policies like this then? Yeah, okay.
Yes. Do you want to make a motion?
It's a resolution.
Yep, it's a resolution.
So I resolve that the township adopt an escrow policy for special assessment deposits.
Support.
Alden.
Yeah, I'll support it, yeah.
So it's been resolved and supported to adopt a township escrow policy as presented. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call vote, please?
Marna Smith,
Yes.
Al Poole,
Yes.
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Chuck Schultz,
Yes.
David Walker,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
and Marcy Husted, yes.
Now the fun one. Item number 5, the resignation of Treasurer Marna Bunting Smith. On June 26, Marna had presented me with a letter of resignation. She's been with us for almost 7 years now.
Yeah, six full
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
you know, she's really advanced the office of the treasurer, and, you know, these are one of those bittersweet moments, but, you know, if somebody's gotta go, they gotta go, so, we don't hold anybody back. She's been graceful enough to stay and help train whoever we select to replace her. I think your September 30th was your drop dead date,
Yeah.
so. You know, we have to, you know, accept this by a resolution as a board. I don't see, it's not telling somebody, no, you can't resign, especially if they're wanting to. And though, you know, some of us may feel that way, but, you know.
Kind of wondered about that. So are you gonna make me stay?
Yeah, how would that work?
No.
So that's where we're at with that. So I think what the next thing that we will do is, you know, go ahead and, you know, put this out
Get it
on our
posted.
website, possibly get it posted and start accepting applications. And, you know, when we find a couple viable candidates, then probably we'll do a board meeting unless somebody, you know, thinks otherwise. But I think we should get on this right away, first thing tomorrow, and get the ball rolling, to make sure that we can get, enough applicants and make sure that we, get a suitable replacement in here as soon as possible so they can work with Marna, because there's a lot of things that they're going to need to know. So.
There's a lot of days I want to be available. I mean, it's all the different tax times, and I know March for settlement, I'll definitely want to be here. I mean, when Dave was here, he sat and held my hand for months, and I called him for a year afterwards, just asking questions all the time. So I definitely will be available to assist. I want it to continue and have the department keep being successful, and
we appreciate that because it's a lot. So.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I will go ahead and resolve to accept the resignation of Treasurer Marna Bunting Smith, effective no later than September 30th, 2017.
Is this a resolution,
Yeah, I believe it has
Terry?
to be a resolution.
Is it, okay,
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to resolve it anyway because
Okay.
it shows a better track record of it.
Yeah.
Support. It's been motioned and supported it's been resolved and supported to accept the resignation of Treasurer Marna Bunting Smith no later than September 30th, 2017. Any further discussion?
And we're, just as a parting gift, we're not going to charge you back for using township letterhead to write a personal letter of resignation. So.
It's still official.
Technically, it was a personal letter of resignation to the township using the township's letterhead. But I'm just saying, we're not going to charge you back.
Okay.
So.
I appreciate that, so.
Madam Clerk, may I have roll call vote, please?
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
You will listen.
Al Poole,
Yes.
Thorne Peterson,
Yes.
Chuck Schultz.
Yes.
David Walker.
Yes.
And Marcy Husted, yes.
You're on the clock.
I am.
Short timer.
Did I call
Okay.
you? Okay.
All right, so we're moving on to item number 6, Economic Development Council of Livingston County contract. We started this, 6 years ago now? As you know, the Ann Arbor Spark is the economic development company that works directly with Livingston Economic Development. We have been participating in this for, like I said, this will be our 7th year now. We're looking for a 3-year contract. I remember when we first started this, I think the first year was right around $7,800 or $8,000 a year.
That sounds right.
There's annual increases every year. They're asking for $9,000 this year, $92,000 next year, and $94,000 next year. I'll go ahead and start it out. It keeps going up every year, and there's some services and things that have been provided, but the whole idea when we started this, and I can remember the conversation very vividly, is we were kicking around the idea of whether we wanted to participate with this or not. And at the time, one of our trustees made a very valid comment. Hell, we spent $22 million on a regional sewer system. We've done nothing to advertise it, and it's been a financial drain on the township up until this year. We either do something to, bring attention that we have, a corridor and we have sewers available, or just bite the bullet and be quiet and pay the bill. So I think that was kind of the thing that kind of pushed everybody, and this is probably not a bad idea. My thing is, each year, it keeps getting, we're starting at 8,000, now we're getting up to 9,500, and, I'm just not seeing them bringing people to the township for development.
I think maybe not the development, but I think we get more, I look at our building permits are up. We might be getting more residents because they're choosing to live here
Yeah.
and work.
And I understand that, but I haven't had anybody say, walk through the door, I'm here because of Ann Arbor Spark. Or I haven't had Ann Arbor Spark say, hey, we brought you this.
Right.
And, now we're getting into, $27,000, almost $28,000 again. It keeps going up and up. I don't mind, trying to do something, but, I'm having a hard time paying them more and more money.
We can't track what they're doing.
Back pound for pound for the money.
It's going to be really hard to do that. I mean, anecdotally, you can do it, but I'm not sure that you, to Mike's point, I mean, I get, and I represent you guys on the board. I think they do a very good job of promoting the county, but the problem with it is it's promoting the county. And if the expectation out of that group is that they're going to promote the township, I think that would be an unrealistic expectation out of them.
I understand that.
And so, I mean, I get that. I mean, and I'm not agnostic to it. I mean, I have to, I've got some bias in so much.
Glad you can make it.
I mean, I've got some obvious bias. I think they're doing some very good work for the county, but you're right. If you said, can you talk about the 5 in the last 5 years that they've walked through the door as a result of that to the township? I can't tell you that that's true. There's no way to quantify that.
Where's my return on investment?
I get that.
Gimroy.
It's it's you're investing in the county and as opposed to the township.
Sure, and I mean, I guess what I'm getting is it keeps going up and up every year. If you want to go back to the $8,000 a year, I might be able to say, okay, look, we're paying you the same, but we're, and I'm still having a hard time validating it, and please somebody enlighten me as to why we should continue to do this, or why are we continue to pay increases?
Yeah, I understand the concern on the increases, and certainly we could go back to them and say, yeah, we're not going to pay the increase. We'll participate, but we're not going to pay the increase.
Yeah, and that's always a possibility, negotiate it at a different amount from prior year or something.
Usually when you give an employee a raise, it's because, there's obviously, your economic factors, but it's because they performed well, and you want to keep them around.
Right. And I'm going to tell you that if we go to them, what Spark is going to tell you is that they'll give you exactly what I just did a moment ago relative to this is what's happened in the county. I'm not sure they're going to be able to point to all the things that have happened in the township. They're not going to be able to focus on it.
I mean, I know they assisted with the property when we owned the 42 acres, and there was some assistance when there was interest in that. And they are very aware of the corridor and that there's properties for sale, but
sure.
it's...
Yeah, and they've pointed people in our direction. They haven't pulled any triggers, and we haven't sat down and had any meetings with people other than, they've sat in on meetings for properties that were existing, but they didn't really bring anybody to the table. I mean, I'm not questioning their work ethic. I'm questioning the return on the investment for Tyrone Township.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm struggling with it. I mean, $27,000, I think we could utilize that doing something else somewhere else.
Yeah, and the other side of that is this would be an easier conversation if we were the city of Brighton or the city of Howell, where you've seen a direct impact, whether it's Speaker or whoever, you could easily make that correlation.
If we had some sort of, restaurant business or something where, we're bringing more people to the county, they're using your restaurants, they're using your stores, they're using your services. Okay, so they sell a couple extra tanks of gas at Woody's or a pizza slice over at, at Runyon Lake. I don't see the return on the investment.
Yeah, it's a different animal than what those cities, or even if you were Brighton Township versus Howell Township, some of those others.
There's also the would have, should have, could have. If you stayed on another year, we'd have brought this person to you, but instead they went. But
well, also might be a matter of continuing. Municipality or township is paying up to. It's hard to fathom that, but like the city.
Pay your fair share.
SEV on different townships. Relationship.
Well, we're entrusted to manage the money of our residents, and we've put a good amount of money into this. This will be $50,000 now, and where is it? Where's our return on investment? I mean, at what point do we stop the bleeding, or and then the other argument is, if you stay the course, it'll pay off. But I mean, at what point, and what's the payoff?
Yeah, and there is, if they did, there is no way they can tell you specifically and empirically when that date is and what that amount is, and there's just no way to quantify that. It's just not gonna happen.
I guess what I could say is that, we could probably still discuss this, but I completely am against giving them more money. No raises.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we do that. Obviously, I don't feel like to make a motion because I'm not rejecting it.
No, but so let me make a suggestion as an option. Let me go back, let me contact them. I mean, because I kind of represent
Sure.
the township. Let me go back, contact Rich and those guys, and say, yeah, we're not going to pay the increases.
Is
And
there
just
other
say-
levels of participation?
Yeah, I don't think there are, but I'm just saying that I don't disagree with you. And if they say no mas, then we'd say no mas too.
Yeah,
That's fine. We'll
That's
just-
fine. And
Yeah.
show me the value proposition. Show it to me.
Yeah, and what they're going to give you is they're going to give you the picture of the Livingston County, and it's not going to be Tyrone Township specific.
Well, in the past, when we've
I mean,
asked.
they're going to give you the approach of a rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing, and that doesn't solve the answer or doesn't really answer the
Well-
question, but that's the response they're going to give.
And in the past, when they've asked for $20,000+, there's always been somebody here. There's nobody here tonight.
Oh, yeah, whether it's,
Whether it's circumstantial, whether it's
Yeah.
planned or
Right.
what.
We did have a presentation in
Yeah, we have.
Oh, no, they've always given.
March or April or something.
Yeah, they've given a
little
couple presentations. but-
update and, yeah.
So I think that's the thing to do at
Yeah,
this point.
let me
We
circle
just-
back with them.
We don't make any action on this. Item number 7, request to amend the Smith-Langen agreement for gravel pit operation and closure. As you know, Tyrone Township has been in a consent agreement with what was formerly known as Fenton Sand and Gravel, the gravel pit, which is now owned by Langen, up on Denton Hill Road. In that consent agreement, there was a lot of wiggle room. There was a proposed closure date. Reclamation included, how far he can go, and basically the gravel pit as it sits now is probably about 80%
80 to 90%
Yeah.
reclaimed.
reclaimed. There is a south wall, which is the smaller of all the walls, that's got sand in it. And we've been kind of pushing, when are you going to get this done? When are you going to get this done? It's been a point of contention with residents in the area on Denton Hill Road, White Lake Road. And they have come up with an agreement, and what they're asking for is to get an extra hour in the morning, little extended time on the week, on Saturday, not run those trucks on Sunday,
So 6 to 6.
and that they will close this down within 2 years and be done with the mining operation. I think that's kind of the golden nugget that we've been looking for with this. The downside is we're probably gonna have to put up with some noise and some traffic from gravel trucks, but there's a means to an end. And that means to an end also means that we can really start having some serious discussion about getting Denton Hill Road fixed and possibly participating with the pavement preservation program with the road commission. So
And it has,
that's another topic for discussion, but I mean, this starts getting us
but this
down
has
that road.
a specific end date, which we've never had before. And what, I want to double check on, is the spelling L-A, it's L-A-N-G-A-N. Is that what's on the agreement? Lang, because we've had Langdon and Langen, and we do have a Langdon that's on Denton Hill.
Langan.
And, because there is a Langdon on Denton Hill Road, which is a homeowner, so I don't want to get the names mixed up.
The contract is correct.
Okay. All right.
You know, this has been going on, this agreement, since 1981.
Wow. Okay, so excavation is to complete on
June
in
1st.
18,
2019 will be done.
and then reclamation is to be completed by June 1st of 2019.
Correct.
So there still could be some truck traffic with the reclamation.
Yeah, and
And equipment
reclamation,
moving
you know,
and-
is bringing
yeah.
in an excavator and a grader, you know, to
Yeah.
get the bottom of the slope, excavator to hit the slopes. possibly some trucks bringing in, seed.
Topsoil and seed
Topsoil and
and,
stuff like that.
okay.
But I think that it's gonna be so minimal that after they get done mining all the sand, we're
In
probably not even gonna
18.
hear about it.
All right.
Yeah, but the carrot is you've got an end date finally, and so
That's,
Yeah.
that's big.
I've been
Yeah.
pushing for an end date for the 7 years that I've been supervisor. It's finally happened, so I can say, at least I got something done, right?
Yeah.
But, so unless anybody is opposed to this, let's
So
call for a
moved.
motion.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to amend the Smith Langdon agreement for gravel pit operation and closure. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We have no miscellaneous business. Last chance for public remark or comment?
On the $3,000 assessment, because I live on Apple Orchard Drive, if that fails, do you divide that money up amongst
No.
everybody? So how would that work if, let's say, let's go back and this $3,000 passes, and I come to you and I say, I want to do a special assessment for the road. Are you going to tell me at that time, understand this, if it doesn't pass, the residents have to pay the $3,000? How is that going to work? So,
You would have to pay it.
because
If you are the one that wants to petition it, you're going to have to pay the $3,000 deposit. If that doesn't go through, like in your case that it didn't go through, then whatever costs we would incur for legal expenses would be taken from that escrow, and then any balance would be refunded to you.
Okay, so if I petition it, the money's on me.
Correct.
Is that going to be very clearly in the contract or the statement from the township? That's, okay.
Yeah, the actual, we're going to have an acknowledgement that is going to have to be signed, and the language in that is exactly what is in this resolution, so it will all be very clear what is expected. So basically, if you want to petition to have a road project done, you're going to want to make sure you have the support before, we incur the legal costs.
I agree with that. I just want to make sure that,
Right.
I'm a union rep, and I want to
Okay.
make sure that the people I'm representing understand that this is what's on the line, and that everybody understands that up front.
Right. Okay.
Any other comments?
How would you limit traffic going through there?
Through
Apple Orchard Road Commission, probably?
petition the road commission to make it a private road?
Well, the thing is, the problem I see right now is the rock. The rock builds on that corner, it's directly across from our road. Which would be newly paved, getting out of church on a Sunday afternoon, they're gonna be cutting through. You need to close it off.
That's the risk that it happens every time you pave a road. People want to drive on a smooth road.
Right.
Lake Shannon's facing the same thing. Well, we'll have people coming from the dirt roads, but,
Make it a gated.
I'd be able to.
do you have a homeowners association?
Not yet, but we might.
Something they might be motivated by.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Could
I don't
do,
know.
yeah.
That's the only worry we have with the, I mean, even during Halloween, you should see that our subdivision, it's
Just
just
packed.
packed because of the church.
The event, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. That would be something to take up with the road commission. I don't know, maybe you can put no event parking or something and have conversation with the pastor over there, Pastor West. He's a pretty, I don't know if you've met him or talked with him, he's a pretty open-minded guy, and maybe you guys as residents should approach him and say, hey,
Yeah,
nothing to worry.
cookies.
Tried to butter you up.
Butter and sugar, yeah.
Yeah, butter.
Yeah.
Obviously, the cookies aren't good enough, so.
Not when they leave on your porch.
Well, at least there's an offering that the communication's probably open, so. Any other questions or comments? All right, so we have no other business, so I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.
The motion and supported to adjourn the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
Plenty of time for Dave.
So what's your,
Plenty of time. You can go get something to
Yeah.
eat now.
you gonna do a little speech on your last meeting?